Greetings, Earthling. We are broadcasting from the planet Mercury. Today is a very special day. We have two of our Mercuritorian members here with me. I am your host, Travis Montgomery, your interplanetarian host. And today we have Beck, Sean Coca. Why don't you give a good Mercury shout out?
Aloha, Earthlings.
We also have a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I like to consider myself mercurial.
Mercurial.
Yeah.
And we have another member of our planet here to rock out with us. Kenny? You like to go? I always call you Kenny, so.
Yeah, Kenny is definitely more my preferred name. We're going business environment. Kenneth Frank doesn't hurt, but anyways, I come in peace.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your project, Kenny, and what you got going on?
Okay, well, first of all, what's going on, everybody? My name is Kenny Frank, and I am the CEO and founder of Moist Day Club. That's MO1ST. dayclub.com, and yeah, I'm a videographer, photographer, and just pure creator, or trying to be a pure creator on every media platform available. So yeah, if you need any kind of video work, photography work, get at me.
That's dope, man. A lot of people sit around with their usual jobs and they're just fine with it, but people like to be promoted, like my man Sean, and people like to start their own thing, and that's beautiful. I didn't start this podcast with the design in mind to make money. I just like broadcasting and like talking with my friends and recording shit. So that's why I did it. But
oh yeah, no, that's definitely how I got my start in photography and videography. It was more so videography. I got tired of going out and blowing a whole lot of cash and not having any memory of the event. So I just started carrying around a camera with me, a little point and shoot, and just making little memory videos of like nights out. And 3 years later, I got my first DSLR, and 2 years later, here I am. So,
dude, I've got to fly my spaceship over there to Las Vegas and check you guys out sometime, because that sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, we got everything that any kind of artist would need to create. We got everything set up in a small little studio right now, but it gets the job done.
And moist, there is just something so sexual about that word. My goodness.
I love that word because most women that I know hate that word.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the antithesis of it. You get one or two reactions from people. Either, "Oh my God, that is so great," or "Oh my God, that is the dirtiest word in the English lexicon." Like anyone can.
It's such an innocuous word. It's like how you would describe a sponge or a towel.
Moist.
It's just got this nasty connotation.
I think vagina. I see that word. I think vagina. I'm sorry.
Well, it actually just started out as an idea for my housewarming or welcome party to Vegas. I had a pool, and every pool out here in Vegas, has a name to it. So I was thinking, man, what could I name it? What could I name it? And I was just thinking, and I was like moist, moist. Why not? And and then I was like, man, yeah, how much better does that sound than hey guys, you want to come over to my house and go swimming? Or hey guys, you guys trying to go to Moist Day Club? Set up a whole little experience for him. So that's how everything got started. But
hey ladies, you want to come over and get moist?
The best part would be they would walk in and then see all this camera equipment. And then they'd be like, oh my God, what's going on here?
What is? I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, as soon as they walk in the door, hand them a liability release. Hey, you need to sign this to walk in.
Put your cell phones in this basket.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's cool, man. We're glad to have you aboard. We're going to talk about some stuff.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys.
Travis, how was your weekend?
My weekend,
Or like last week. It's been a week.
it was all right. I was supposed to go down to Orange County, but my son was kind of sick still, so that didn't happen. But I'm looking forward to going back down to Orange County and visiting my family. And this weekend was kind of uneventful. We were just getting ready to go, and that's about it. I watched some sports. I got to relax a little bit, which I don't usually get to do on the weekend because there's always like everything that you didn't do during the week that you had to get done, and then the weekend comes and you got to get all that stuff done. So that was pretty cool. How was the bar that you went to last Friday?
It was good. I went to Hopscotch. If anybody listening is from Orange County, it's kind of a hipster bar, but I like it because they have a cigar bar, and they actually have a halfway decent selection of whiskeys.
I apologize, guys. Someone just knocked on my door.
It's all right. I got a dog too. If something happens, my dog's gonna go off too. But yeah, they got a good selection. I had some cigars that I had to smoke because they were getting a little old. But
it's all good.
Yeah, no, it was good. I'm looking forward to this weekend though. Tomorrow, I don't know how manly this is, but tomorrow I'm going to see the Ellie Goulding show at Staples Center.
She's dope.
Yeah,
I think she's dope.
Yeah, so I'm going to see that on tomorrow, and then if the weather pans out on Saturday, we're either going to go down to San Diego or kind of go to Central California, maybe a little bit your way, Travis, to go on a hike.
Oh, there's plenty of dope spots. If you're passing through Bakersfield, let me know because I'll be in Orange County and I'll miss you.
We were talking about going to June Lake, which is sort of up that way, up the 395. So when I say your way, I mean your general direction.
Well, don't get me all excited for nothing.
You'd be like every woman I've ever dated.
How is your family, Travis, anyways?
We're doing all right. That's kind of a tough question since you know me as a kid. I lost my brother and a sister, not my brother Nick, but I lost. It was tough times.
I'm sorry. Don't gotta go.
But my brother, I still got my brother Nick. You probably remember him.
Yes, I do.
Do you have a sister, don't you?
I have 2 sisters and a brother. Well, 3 brothers. My dad has 2 more kids, so they live in Arizona, and then I have my brother and sisters that I grew up with. So,
right. Well, right on. Yeah, me and Kenny grew up playing sports together. My dad used to pick him up.
Hell yeah!
And we had some sleepovers. His mom. You know how little kids can be. I'm just kidding. Wait, hold on. Since we brought this up, Kenny, we played on the Hornets together, didn't we?
Yeah, we played 1 year.
Remember that kid Marcus?
Marcus what?
He was pretty flamboyantly gay. His grandpa was one of the coach. His grandpa had gray hair, black dude. Yeah. Speaking of which, I slept over there one time, and that dude tried to fucking touch me.
No, sir.
His grandfather?
No, not him. The kid.
He had big gums, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember.
His yeah. So
big gums or little teeth.
Screw that guy. I had insecurity.
Wait, I thought you didn't want to screw that guy.
Well, times have changed. All right, I'm a grown man now. I'm comfortable with myself.
Oh, man,
I don't even know why I thought of that. I think that incident right there made me like had intimacy issues, and I never told anyone. I don't even know why I'm telling it right now.
You just told all one of our listeners too.
Yeah, that guy is a weirdo, and I'm glad I outed him right now.
I hope he's listening at some point.
If he's one of the 30 people that have listened to the podcast.
Oh, goodness gracious.
We had one shout out to the listener in the United Kingdom, because I don't know who you are, but you listened and you're great. So, speaking of homosexual tendencies, there's a guy named Donald Trump running for president.
Great segue.
who's trying to who outlined his plan on how he's going to build this wall.
Dun, dun.
Dum dum dum. Which I mean I don't know. I'm still on the wall about the wall. If that makes any sense. Because I think a little minimal protection for the people of our country is something that could be desired. But so he came out, what was it, like 3 or 4 months ago, and saying that we're gonna build a wall and Mexico's gonna pay for it. And then everyone's like, okay, well, how are they gonna make Mexico pay for it? Well, then he came out and said he's gonna cut Western Union and money orders that transfer. He's gonna pass an anti-terrorist law that is going to prohibit people sending money back to Mexico. And in order for this to stop, Mexico is going to have to give a one-time payment of $5 to $10 billion. And granted, this is if he is elected president. And I'm still not sure how effective a wall would be. That they always find ways around, but I feel like that the drug cartels are just running drugs and money back and forth, and it's almost like a free-for-all. And the money to Mexico is one of its biggest incomes. It could cripple the economy. I kind of like the idea of American money staying in America. I don't know, Kenny. I know this could hit home for you and your family. So what do you think about that?
I really think the whole idea of building a wall is ludicrous. I think it just really gives people, other countries, the opportunity to have a Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall moment. Like, it's ludicrous to me. Building a wall to keep people out, or in some ways, if you want to be demented and think about it reversely, maybe he's building the wall to keep Americans in, because if he does become president, he's going to try to run this place like a totalitarian government and just take control of everything.
Sean, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, the wall is... There's other ways to do it besides a wall. It's kind of silly to me. You're going to spend a ton of money on something that's going to take a ton of years to do. And really, I mean, I know I've read reports about how, at least in Southern California, migration from Mexico and from Central America has dipped a lot because there's not a lot of opportunity here. And really, that's always been the argument for stuff like E-Verify, where if you have the stuff in place and you actually use it, and if someone doesn't have a worker's visa or they're not a legal citizen, they can't get a job, then there's no reason for them to stay here. I think that's a more realistic way to, if your issue is you want to get rid of illegal immigration, or you want to stifle it, or you want to push back on it, that's more realistic. It's not realistic to put up a wall, because you're going to spend billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, on something that is not permanent. I'd rather have a program in place that actually addresses the issue than just some masonry or some fencing. That
there's also the argument that you can go under and over it. Like,
yeah,
now are becoming huge. I'm sure cartels are using them to make drug drop-offs, and they don't got to go far.
And if cartels have all that money, I mean, people are people. You're going to be able to bribe a border agent. You're going to be able to bribe whoever you want. If the issue is immigration, you can deal with it. If the issue is the cartels, then the wall's not going to do anything, because there's already security, and there has been, and they've still been getting through. So there needs to be a different approach. A wall's not going to do anything. I mean, hell, I remember hearing a story about a like you were saying, a drone that dropped some contraband into like a prison. Like, someone flew a drone into a prison yard and dropped something down for one of the prisoners. If they can do that in a high security prison, they can do it across the border, especially when there's no there's no surveillance for miles at a time. You know, a lot of it's just desert.
Well, not only that, once you build the wall and people do try to attempt to make it over, like you're still gonna need people to go and pick them up. Like if they make it over, it doesn't make sense. Like you're gonna create a DMZ. Like,
Yeah.
it, the whole idea, like I said, just sounds ludicrous to me. They're discovering tunnels. They just discovered a tunnel like 2 days ago that was like, I don't know, like 5 miles long. Like
Yeah, it went from a
people
house
like
to a
El Chapo.
business.
Yeah, you have like people like El Chapo building tunnels into prisons. Like
Yeah.
if that's not the most, building a wall isn't gonna keep somebody out. Or
But
in.
it's a good talking point that gets a lot of press.
Oh yeah.
And I honestly, if he somehow is able to, I mean, I don't even know how he'd be able to do some kind of, how would he? I haven't read his specific proposal. How would he even stop Western Union, money orders or whatever to Mexico?
He's going to pass an anti-terrorism law that you would need to have some sort of identification to send money to, or you wouldn't be able to send money to, I guess, Mexico or south of the border. But there's a lot of what about like Costa Rica, and there's a lot of offshore gambling that goes on. There, you could send to Costa.
What if you just went to a liquor store and got a money order or something, and because you don't need anything but cash to do that, and then you just mailed it to Mexico?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sure they'd find. Yeah, that's true.
There's Western Unions in Mexico. And I assume that if someone is like, let's say that they're illegal or something. I mean, that would work for anybody. If someone's trying to send money to Mexico, that's a pretty untraceable way to do it. You just buy it and mail it.
Creating another job for the cartel. Like it's just another black market for them to figure out and make money off of. That would just start taxing people because they would probably just send money in on their private planes like they're doing right now anyways.
So what you would have, the only way that this is going to work is that, one, you stop sending money. All right, so for anyone to pick up money in another foreign country, you'd have to show, I guess, proof of ID, and I don't see how that. You'd have to stop it to every country outside of U.S. because then you can just leapfrog. You could just send it to one country and have another country send it to another country.
But even then, as long as you have, if you have a bank account, then you can do anything. I mean, I just paid fairly recently for some engagement photos that a woman in England is going to do when we take a trip, and I paid her on PayPal. I shot money.
Bitcoin and
I shot money.
Yeah.
As long as you have an account, you can do any of that, and you can still, for the most part, start an account pretty much anywhere for fairly little down, and I think most banks will take a simple ID. They don't necessarily need a social security card or anything.
Well, also let's take it a step further and say who really is benefiting from the illegal labor. It's generally not. Again, this is very general, not everyone, but general people from the right wing of things, in terms of the businesses that they own.
Business owners,
so
yeah.
There is no incentive for them really to even. I don't understand why they would even support a business, a thought, something like that, because it doesn't.
There's more people than there is jobs right now for sure. So, and that's what kind of Sean was alluding to about how the immigration is kind of slowed down, and probably a lot of it that people that are going back and forth are criminals who are bringing over whatever, and that's the whole drug thing is another. If you made drugs illegal tomorrow, all that stuff stops immediately.
If you made drugs illegal, bad example.
If you made drugs legal.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
I was like, wait.
All that stuff stops
something happened
immediately.
I didn't realize?
No,
but a lot of it is people that get in trouble. They do their time. They get deported, and then they end up right back in the prison system. It's kind of scary to think that someone could walk over, and if you look at all the recent attacks in Europe, and I was just talking with my buddy who lost his cousin in 9/11, and about the cleanup process and finding bodies, and I don't know, it just got me a little worried the other day. And I'm not saying that attack like that is going to happen, but it just kind of, just stuff needs to be talked about, I feel.
All the attacks in Europe that have happened in like London and or in Paris and where was the last one that happened?
Brussels.
Belgium, yeah, Brussels.
In Belgium.
We're all
Yeah.
nationalists, so even like there would have been no way to stop them from entering the country because they were all from those particular countries. So.
I don't. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, they were all nationalists. They were all from the countries. That's why they were there. And then that's why the guy who helped plan the attack went back to Brussels because he's from Brussels.
We were talking about this. We were talking about this last time, Travis. Is the difference between the European countries and us is that the European countries have essentially segregated kind of ghettos. You've got in Paris you've got areas where it's everyone is an Arab. Everyone there is an Arab. Same thing in Belgium. I can't ever remember the name of the part of Brussels. It's a section of the city.
Something like that.
Yeah, Malabi or Malabi.
There's two cities that have the same exact sounding names, and
yeah, but it's like that entire part of the city is all Arab, all Muslim, and pretty much all immigrants. So they're citizens of the country, but they've sort of balkanized themselves within cities and within countries where this is the Arab quarter and this it's only Arabs there, and then each of those areas have their own economies and everything. Where I remember reading that in Brussels it was something like 50% unemployment in that part of the city. So
yeah, a lot of them can't get jobs because just based off of their ethnicity.
Yeah.
So it's a complex issue, and there's not one answer for
No,
it.
there's no one answer, but there's a lot of people that are concerned, and that's why you see these fascist groups rising up against the Muslims that are taking over whole areas of England, Paris, France, and because they have an open border policy. And I mean, if that's what America was designed or destined for, I guess it's not going to be that bad because we're so far away. But it's just the extremists that we know that they want us all dead or to convert to Islam. That is what they want, and it's a little worrisome.
Not even so much convert to Islam because they're killing more Muslims than they are any other group in the world. They just want them to convert to Sharia law and live by that tenet of Islam. But I mean, you can't really lump all of Islam together. Not all of them believe in such a radical version of
no, but the amount that do, and that's it's.
No, it's true. Definitely, it only takes one. But in that case, it only takes one Christian shooter to shoot up a church. It only takes one one ex Marine or Army cadet to blow up a federal building.
Well, if you want to take a look at what Timothy McVeigh and all of the terrorist attacks that have happened since then, Muslim murders outnumber Christian murders about 1,000 to 1. It's not even comparable.
Well, but not in the U.S. I'm talking about terrorist actions that have been carried out in the U.S.
Well, 9/11, there's 3,000 right there. So show me 3,000 deaths that have happened in the past 15 years on account of a Muslim on American soil. It's not even comparable.
You mean a Christian?
Illegal, legal, Christian, Muslim, it's all the same thing.
I mean, we could definitely go back about 50 years and we can say otherwise. It's not, it's just a different time period now, yes, but it's still people alive from that era that witnessed.
If you go back all the way to the Renaissance era, It
Then
still doesn't compare. It still does not compare.
if you go back,
Because
if you go
that
back
was
to
what the whole
Christian
war was
Crusade,
about.
if you go back to the Christian Crusade,
It's not even comparable. It's not.
I mean, I don't really know the statistics on it, so I can't. I don't want to make
I've
a
just
steadfast.
I don't have the numbers fresh in my head, but from what I've recently heard on Sam Harris's podcast, it's not comparable, and that guy does not talk out of his ass. He may be an atheist and against religion and stuff like that, which I don't agree with, but a lot of the other stuff that he talks about, I do agree with.
I mean, there was the Holocaust was 6 million just there alone.
But that was in the name of, were they really Christians? That was in the name of fascism.
Yeah, true.
He was killing everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, so is ISIS or DISIL or whatever you want to call it.
Bastards, call them bastards.
Well, speaking of ISIS, there was a gentleman who was in one of these wars that we're talking about. His name is Bergdahl. Are you too familiar with him?
Yes.
Yes, unless there's been like recent news about him. Last I heard about him was like a month ago or 2 months ago.
So Mr. Bergdahl fled his platoon in Afghanistan. What his reasons were to draw attention to this crazy general that he felt was endangering his whole, I don't know if you want to call it platoon, brigade, or whatever. So he deserts in the middle of the night. He gets picked up by the Taliban. He's held in prison for 5 years, pretty much tortured. And after some intense negotiations between, I think Hillary Clinton was a part of that too, and the Afghan military. We even did some negotiating directly with the Taliban. All this stuff was being top secret. We ended up swapping out Mr. Bergdahl for 4 Taliban prisoners that were in Guantanamo Bay. So my thing about this, and this is my feeling, and I'll get your guys' feelings about it. It's sad that people had to die looking for this man, and even some of the people that died cannot be confirmed that they were on a direct mission looking for him. A lot of the times that was like the second or third motivating factor on why they were going on these missions, but he shouldn't have been in the Army in the first place. He was enlisted in the Coast Guard. They found him. He ended up getting kicked out of the Coast Guard because he's mentally unstable. They found him in a bathroom with broken glass. It looked like he had bashed his face against the mirror a bunch of times and in a pool of blood.
Come on, who among us haven't done that?
Well, that one breakup was really rough. Yeah, I found myself.
Try to summon Man one time, I guess.
Oh, don't you say it again, damn it! Don't you say that again. So, what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Sean. About should the U.S. have swapped? Should we have negotiated with the terrorist? And how do you feel? Should this guy's facing charges in August? He could spend the rest of his life in a military prison.
I mean, I don't particularly. He left, right? He went AWOL. He was captured. The not the motto, but in the military, you don't leave a man behind if you can help it. So I understand the impetus to want to get the guy back, but man, my military history isn't all that great. I'm sure we've done prisoner swaps before, but to swap what I feel like were high-level people for someone that was kind of low-level is, I mean, I don't know. It's like you're putting a value on an American life and on a soldier's life to get him back. We do this kind of stuff, not necessarily a prisoner exchange, but we do this kind of stuff with, we negotiate, especially with, North Korea, to get idiots back that go over there and do stupid things that they know is going to get them arrested. So, I mean, I think we should have worked to get him back because he is still an American citizen, and we should use everything. We should have used everything in our ability to get him back. Whether that was to just get him back to face charges for what he did or get him back to do whatever. We should have done whatever we could to get him back, but I don't know about trading 4 people for him. I don't know if that was a good trade, even on paper. I mean, I don't understand the what's the word? I don't understand the drastic nature of it, I guess. Why we had to get him back right away. Like, yes, we'll trade you these guys to get him back.
Yeah, it did seem pretty weird how they were the administration seemed so hell-bent on this one guy getting him back. Kenny, you have any thoughts on it?
Well, let me first off say, if I become president, I'll make the best deals out there. I'll make better deals than myself. But
you sound like Trump.
I have the best words.
The best.
There will be so many deals.
No, but as far as this guy goes, it's as far as I understand the story. His side of the story is that he saw a lot of corruption going on within his platoon or his command, his upper command people, that he left or deserted his post in the middle of the night to go to another outpost and ended up to report what he saw going on there. And then in the process, he ended up getting lost and ended up getting picked up by Taliban. Now, is it true? I don't know. That's his side of the story. But I think pretty much what you guys have said is pretty much how I feel about it. Like, we definitely should have went in and got him. I just don't necessarily know if, trading the people that we traded for him was the best. I mean, and there could have been other stuff that was traded as well. So we generally don't know. But so the media tends to focus in on certain things. So we couldn't have just left them there, especially in the Taliban's hand, when they've been. What if he would eventually ended up on video getting beheaded, and it came out that we had a chance to get him? Like, that just, I know if I would even contemplating joining the military at that point, I would second guess it for sure. If they're just gonna let me stay, regardless of the reasons.
Shit, we just lost Sean.
I thought I saw something flash.
It's cool. I'm gonna have to edit this part out.
Okay.
Let me invite him back. He might have had a lapse in his internet.
It happens.
And good thing I know how to mix audio.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Sorry about that. Somehow my computer shut off. But I'm good now. I'm all plugged in.
It's cool. I can
all around.
Snippet that part out.
I don't remember what was the last thing you heard, and I could probably try to start up from there and just finish.
We can
unicorns pissing rainbows.
Something like that. No.
Cock shit balls.
The last thing I heard was he saw corruption in his unit, and he was trying to go through his command, and it wasn't working, and that's when it cut out.
Okay, should I just go from there real quick?
Sure.
All right, so yeah, his side of the story basically is that he saw a lot of corruption in his, I guess in the command of his unit or in the upper, I don't know the military lingo, but the sergeants or whatnot, whoever was in command of his unit, he saw things that he wanted to report, and so he deserted his post in the middle of the night in search of another outpost and got lost or picked up by Taliban at that point. My feeling on this basically is the same as yours. I know that the U.S. had to get him back for the simple fact that if his face popped up on one of those beheading videos, it would have looked really bad for the U.S., especially when it came out that we had an opportunity to get them back.
Well, let me ask you this. First of all, the Army needs to do a better job of screening its people and who it's sending out to these wars where we have boots on the ground. And do you think that we should even have boots on the ground at all to fight this enemy ISIS? Kenny,
Can you repeat the last part of that?
should we have boots on the ground? Should we even be in this war anyways, in your opinion?
No, I do not. I mean, I feel like we have some kind of position in the war, but it's definitely something that if you understand the tactics on which ISIS is using to recruit people, you understand that it would be counterproductive to have U.S. boots on the ground. And from just past the last war that we tried to wage over there, we know that it's not something that we can just put tons of U.S. troops on the ground and end in a month. Like, it's not just a 1 month war. So, in my opinion, it'd be counterproductive.
What about you, Sean? What do you think the U.S. should do about this ISIS problem and what we've gotten ourselves into?
I don't know, because it's to me, it's not a war you could win necessarily with guns. I mean, the Russians tried to do that with Afghanistan back in the 70s, 80s. And really, I mean, maybe we could win it with guns. We could win it with troops and people on the ground. But the reality is the way we could win that is not something that the U.S. would do, because it would have to be something like Russia did recently, where they just didn't care about fallout, they didn't care about casualties, they didn't care about collateral damage. They just bomb, and
it'd have to be like
and basically
World War II bombing.
yeah, just basically you would have to beat them into submission and make them fear for their lives to get them to stop, because it's not you're not doing something, or you're not going up against someone that it's a political ideology that you're fighting against. You're not going against someone who thinks that the government should be run a certain way or what. You're going up against people who fervently believe that you are evil, or your way of life is evil, and you have to be either converted or killed, and like there's no really negotiating with that. So I don't know, that I think it's a war that you either win it with extreme prejudice, like you go and you bomb the hell out of them and you beat them back into submission, or it's a war that you win by changing the attitudes of the people that are around them. And like right now, the people that are around them, they have no dog in this fight, because either ISIS kills them or we kill them inadvertently with drones. So why would they get on our side? It's a difficult thing. I feel like the last 20 years, last two presidential administrations, there have been a lot of missteps, and I don't know if it's possible to fix it at this point.
Well, I feel that 5 years in a Taliban prisoner of war situation, whatever the guy did, and they can't prove directly that the people that were killed that were looking for him, and this is all going to come out in the trial. I think 5 years in that kind of a situation is punishment enough, and that they should just go their separate ways at this point. And God damn it, Bergdahl, don't enlist in another form of U.S. military. Well, I got a question for you, Sean Coca.
Yes, sir.
What do you think ISIS thinks about our transgender bathrooms policy?
It's probably another thing on their list of why they need to take over and institute Sharia law.
They've got a good point there. Uh, North Carolina, a bill passed to regulate bathrooms. Basically, what is on your birth certificate is how you will enter a bathroom. And what was it? I think Yelp was getting ready to build a big office there, and they said, no, sorry, um, you won't let our guys with long hair in there and in a woman's bathroom, so we're not gonna build this couple $1 million facility that they were getting ready to build. I guess my thought on it is is you you should, if you want to be a woman in man's clothing, you want to get a sex change, you want to do all that's fine, but not before the age of 18. If if you have the option to do that when you're 12, 13, 14 years old, and you might be gay, you might not, these questions might start entering your brain. It's a really confusing time for a blossoming young lad. So I don't know. What do you think about it? It's a big mess.
My whole argument for this has always been anybody who's not fully developed, I don't know, mentally, emotionally, maturity wise. I mean, Travis, you have a kid.
Yeah.
If your kid said, "I'm a dinosaur," you'd be like, "Okay, you're a dinosaur," and you'd be like, "Rah, let's be a dinosaur." But you wouldn't go out there and get him reconstructive surgery to make him a dinosaur. You wouldn't.
I wish people could have seen your rawr.
But you wouldn't go out there and say, okay, well, you're a dinosaur now, so let's make sure you're comfortable in your dinosaur skin. Kids are dumb. Kids don't know who they are. Hell, most adolescents don't know who they are. Most adults don't know who they are. And to think that somehow a kid who's 10, 5, 8, 10, 12, 14 years old actually knows what's going on in his or her life. I mean, you can try and make them comfortable, I guess, and let them figure it out, but you don't entertain every single thing. You don't entertain every thought that they have and every identity. I mean, I think it's not everyone is a special snowflake. You don't need to entertain every single one of your kids' thoughts about who they are and what they are. And part of I'm not a parent, so I can't say, but I feel like part of being a parent is directing your kids and not just letting them do whatever they want and take whatever path they so choose. I'm not saying that if your kid is gay, try and not make him gay. I'm saying take everything with a grain of salt at a certain age. If your 5-year-old is saying that he's a girl, or your 5-year-old girl is saying she's a boy, be like, okay, you're a boy today. But don't all of a sudden rearrange their life because you believe that they believe that they're a boy and that's what they're meant to be. It's just, to me, it's kind of crazy.
Right.
I think this bill is more targeted towards the older adults and trying to restrict what bathrooms they use as adults. Because as a kid, I mean, I'm sure, Travis, you have a boy, but I'm sure your wife takes him or will start to take him to the girls' bathroom when he's still young to use the bathroom. Like, that's what it's going to end up kind of creating a issue, because then people will feel like they have the right to tell a mom or a dad taking their little daughter into the boys' bathroom. There's going to be that one dick that's going to be like, they're not supposed to be in here. And this bill doesn't really serve a purpose. Like, they're trying to justify it as a protection for the sex, but I mean, if any well-dressed dyke walked into a guy's bathroom, I'm not gonna call her out on it, and I don't
You know
think
what?
vice versa. But if someone walked in and they were apparently a dude walking into the girl's bathroom, then yeah, someone they're gonna say something.
You know what? Like, not that I necessarily agree with the law, but what I hate in situations like this is that we care about one person's or one group's about their feelings more than we care about another group's. So we care more about the transgenders' their comfort level, and we care more about them, you know, their feelings than we do about anyone else's. It's just, okay, so let's say a transgender male to female. So she's a she. She wants to use the women's bathroom. So we care about her feelings and we let her go into the women's bathroom. But do we not care about the other women that are in the bathroom that aren't comfortable with that? You're sort of forced. You're sort of forced into this. You're sort of forced into like making it okay. Like, I shouldn't have a problem with it, but what if I still do? Are my feelings invalid? Are they not worth anything? Should I just, if I'm not comfortable with it, I just have to deal?
No, I don't think anyone ever should be held like I don't want to say accountable, but I don't think anyone should ever be blamed for their feelings. Like that, how you feel is how you feel. All another person can do is try to redirect or try to explain to you why explain the other side of the issue. And that's what I think a lot of people sometimes gets lost in argument, that they can't see the other side of the issue. And vice versa, the other side can't see the other side of the issue. But how do you think it would look if a guy dressed as a girl walked into the guy's restroom? Like,
that would be weird for me.
exactly. So like you're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation if you're that person. So
I think
it really does come down to discretion and how well, I guess, you're pulling off being a girl and how well you're pulling off being a guy.
Oh, honey, I could pull off the best woman you have ever seen.
See, a lot of it too for me, and this is going to sound super. It's going to sound super. I don't know what it's going to sound.
Insensitive?
But, yeah, really insensitive.
Mercury.
Huh? Mercurian?
Mercurian, yeah.
Mercurial?
We just don't understand how these fucking earthlings think.
So I think there's a difference between. So you can't have separate bathrooms for separate races, right? Because one, it's wrong, but two, you can't hide what you are. If you're a certain color, a certain race, you can't hide that. If you're black, you're black. You're not going to, do something to you realistically that's going to make you look white. If you're white, you're not going to make yourself look black or Hispanic.
Unless you're the Wayans brothers, but go ahead.
Yeah. You can make some terrible white chicks moves. But so it's not something it's not something you can hide. It's not something you can disguise, I guess. So that's something to me that is if you're discriminating against someone for that, then that's super shitty because there's nothing you can do about it. There is nothing you can do about the way that you look. But if you choose to look a certain way, which you can feel like you're a man in a woman's body or a woman in a man's body, but your volition, your choice is to dress like it. That's not something that's forced upon you. That's something you choose to do.
Right. So then does the guy dressed as a girl in a full dress miniskirt walk into the guy's bathroom?
But I'm saying they've chosen to do that. So why, like, their choice is to dress in a dress.
How would you feel if a guy walked in a miniskirt, like shaved legs, you couldn't tell it was a girl, or was it you couldn't tell it was a dude?
If he has a dick and he started pissing next to me, then it's fine.
He steps up to the urinal trough.
Right? Like he does.
I
Like he
guess.
just lifts
I
up
mean,
his skirt. Like, how would
I
you feel
think-
about that? Like,
I think
But
it's the
no.
women.
My point is that they've chosen to do a certain thing. They've chosen to dress a certain way, and because of their choice, they're forcing us to deal with their choice. It's not something that is innate to them. So you've got a guy who dresses like a girl, and now that choice that they've made is forced upon either the men or the women. You either got a female-looking person walking into a men's restroom, or you've got a female-looking guy walking into a women's restroom, and they've made that choice for us. That they're gonna, that's the issue I kind of have with it. It's that they've made a choice to do something, and then they throw that choice in our face, and it has to do with anything really. They throw that choice in our face and they say, "Accept me."
okay, here's another. Or I guess it's the same example, but opposite. What if this butch ass like girl walks into the girl's restroom? I'm sure a girl in there is gonna be like, "Wait, what's this dude in here?" And I think it just gives them the feeling like they can say, "You're not supposed to be in here. You're a guy." And then that makes it awkward for the girl that's actually should be in there. Then they have to go through their whole explanation of, well,
I think we should just have male bathrooms, female bathrooms, and then a unisex bathroom that's like the family
That's
bathroom.
what's gonna end up happening.
I agree 100%.
And it's gonna,
in the
it's,
unisex bathroom too, by the way.
it's yeah, because you can lock that. It's like a toilet and a sink, and you can lock that bitch and do whatever you want in there.
Reapply your
More elbow space.
strap on.
Well, there's a couple other things that that I wanted to get into, but our conversation has been going so smoothly. I think we're just going to hit a technology point and do a couple shout outs. I believe we're already at an hour and a half, which is kind of
Are we really?
Holy moly.
Which is where I like to keep it. I believe we are.
Holy moly.
We're approaching it.
We're approaching terminal velocity.
Before I share my technology thing, anything in the technological world that has sparked your interest that is new? Last week we talked about self-driving car for a little bit, didn't we?
Yeah. No, we did.
Anything on the off the top of your guys' cusp? Well, I'll just go into so a new technology has come out that has been approved by the FDA. It's called Neuro Metrics Incorporated. It's a pain zapping dongle. What it does, the dongle.
I'm sorry, I'm 10 years old.
Yeah. So pretty much what it does, it sends a small electrical pulse to your body. It looks like a makeup compact, and you strap it to your calf, and it's going to help people out with severe pain problems. And my like what the F moment was that it was approved by the FDA, who, with the big pharma and how much money they make off of all these illegal drugs that are used for pain management, that this thing that has actually been proven to lower pain, you strap it onto your calf, and people with severe, rheumatoid arthritis and all these crazy pain diseases, and it's really can stifle that big pharma with the Oxycontin and the Valiums, Vicodin, all that stuff, which is killing more people in America than almost anything else.
There's already a cure for that. It's called weed.
Thought you were going to say something like 9 millimeter. It's a 9 millimeter injection.
That's pain management.
You got to go see those now, anyways.
Well, with the weed, kind of just makes you feel like I don't care anymore. The pain's there. Fucking whatever.
Pain. I just don't care that I'm in pain.
It allows you to accept your condition.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
What did it say? What I mean, it's got to have some kind of painkiller chemicals in it. I'm assuming it's like absorbed through the skin.
It's not. It sends a small electrical pulse into the body.
You can have people walking down the street like.
Gaga.
Well,
turn it up too high.
If it sends a small electrical, that just.
I didn't do that much reading on it. I just saw it on Reuters. Steroiders.
Yeah.
But I think that's great. You know, we got self-driving cars. We're gonna end pain. We got homosexual women.
Bathrooms.
We have homosexual women?
Homosexual women.
Oh my god! What news story was that on? I was unaware.
Oh. So next week, any technological. I think this is gonna like. But I know some people. I'm not gonna name any names, but they're totally in pill addictions, and they probably will not take something like that because they would rather just take their pills. And
I wonder if that thing could be modified to stimulate like the dopamine receptor in your brain and cause you to basically have the same reaction as if you just did a shot of heroin or something.
Yeah, that's probably not too far off. I mean,
it'll be a new market, a new drug market. Let me modify your pain calf thingy, and you can be on a permanent high.
Or permanent orgasm.
That would. Have you seen? There's a guy who suffers from that. I forget what the thing is called, but he slipped a disc in his back and it pinched a nerve, which causes him to constantly have an orgasm. Like he has up to like 200 a day, and he said it's debilitating.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of other stories like that, but I've heard it like from women. I've never heard of it from dudes. Like, is he just like jizzing all over the place? Like,
are you bragging? Are you bragging, Kenny? Are you bragging right now?
not even.
There's a condition where women have constant orgasms. It's called Sean's penis.
Well played. Well played.
Oh, sign me up.
But no, the guy. I mean, it was basically. The story, it was a news story, but also a video, and they played it up as the guy is suffering because he can't have meaningful relationships, because sex is painful to him now, because he walks around with an almost constant erection, and they really played it up. I mean, I'm sure everyone listening at some point has had an orgasm. The way he was doing it, he was walking and
Don't ask my wife.
But the way
I like how close he had to get to the microphone.
the way he was acting it out, he's walking and talking to the interviewer, and then all of a sudden one comes, and he literally falls down into the fetal position. Like, I don't know, man. It's.
Oh Lord.
I mean, I'm sure maybe, I don't know for sure, but it would probably get old maybe after a while if you have 200 a day or whatever.
What if he was at Del Taco and he's ordering, he's like, yes, I'd like 2 chicken soft!
And a double bill! Caesar.
That'd be horrible, actually.
Oh, Lord.
Have extra red sauce! Never mind.
Extra sour cream.
It's awful.
Well, let's do some shout-outs and get the hell out of here. I'd like to do a big shout-out to Merle Haggard, even though I'm not a big country dude.
Oh, that was sad.
Yeah, there's a big street that I live next to. It's a big, huge road. It's almost like a highway that's named after him. He's from Bakersfield. He was born in Oildale. Kind of grew up a roughneck, getting in trouble. He went to prison 3 years for a botched robbery. He's got about 40 records that reached the top of the country music charts. Kind of formulated this Bakersfield country oaky sound that became pretty popular, and a lot of the staple marks of the 1960s and 70s music. Was he's kind of like a trendsetter for that, and the dude was when I first moved out here and I saw Merle Haggard Road, and I was like, oh, well, who the hell is that guy? And so I looked him up, and the dude was still touring up until recently. At 79 years old, still getting after it. So big shout out to Merle Haggard.
He influenced a lot of country singers.
Huh.
Almost all of them. Modern ones, at least.
And I've actually heard of the guy. That's really all I could say.
Yeah, where me and Kenny grew up, there was no country music going on at all.
Not a scene. Apparently, though, Cerritos is really big in the hip hop scene.
Yeah, it was all Snoop Dogg and Tupac, and I liked everything though. I liked the Green Day, Nirvana, and Korn and stuff like that.
I actually came into country late in life. I actually like country a lot.
Really?
I can respect the artist, and I just don't have really much on my iPad or iTunes.
Well, I'm kind of forced to listen to it out here wherever I go, so I could spot songs, but I can't spot artist or the name of the
That's
song.
how I am. That's how I am with hip hop. I'm the opposite. I know I've heard that song before, but I couldn't, for the life of me, tell you who sings it.
Well, I'm the exact opposite. I know it all, except for today's music and guys named Fetty Wap. Jesus Christ, Jesus. That when I heard that guy, I was like, okay, I'm old now. This is what they're playing on the radio. I cannot stand it, and I'm that old guy that's saying, turn this shit off.
Can
and
I be back when you guys do the music topic? I would love to.
Sure. Well, this is it right now. You're here. No, we'll definitely have you back. It's been fun. Anybody you guys wish to give out shout outs to? Shout out to Lake Cold on Twitter. I know he's gonna listen to this. My man's been supporting us since Political Diarrhea days and even the MMA show that I was on. Big shout out. He always retweets and he's a big supporter, and I'd mouth kiss the man if he was right here right now.
That's pretty intense.
Maybe.
That's a whole other level.
I probably wouldn't mouth kiss him per se.
No, you already said it.
I might give him a, whatever.
He's just going to edit this out.
No, I don't really have any shout outs. You summed it up. That was a pretty solid shout out. Don't want to.
Yeah. Shout out to my laundry. I gotta go fold.
Boom. That's huge. So next week, $15 minimum wage. Maybe we'll get into some race relations. I'd like to pick Sean's brain about artificial intelligence.
Ooh.
Are you big on that at all?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I'm a big Star Trek fan.
AI.
Yes, I want to get into that. Kenny, you want to come on next week too?
Sure. Yeah, damn.
Okay.
I'd be honored.
I might get an MMA segment out for this podcast. Hopefully, I got somebody in mind to talk with about. Yeah, if I do, I will add it at the end. Edit or whatever. Also, we're trying to send people to Mars. Isn't that crazy?
Good. Let's send like half of the people on Earth.
Let's send. You know what? Let's just send all the transgenders to Mars.
Let's send all the Chinese.
No, it's too many. You need too many. You need a big spaceship for that.
We'll just get a big cannon. We'll fire them all.
Hopefully, they don't hit anything on the way there. Well, I guess I have been your interplanetarian host, Sean Coca. Kenny, Frank, you guys have been great, and that is another episode of Mercury.
Dope.
Boom.
Good night, everybody, or good morning. I don't know when you're listening to this.
We only get 5 hours of daylight over here, so we don't know what you're on.
Yeah.
Anyways, we out.